What is Once Human? Over the course of my now overly bloated playtime of the game, I've struggled to pin down what best to classify this game's general feel and experience in preparation for this review. Casual Google Fu will call the game a free-to-play, post-apocalyptic, third-world, open-world, multiplayer survival game. A blend of survival mechanics and looter-shooter drops in an open-world sandbox. I've decided after playing multitudes of them that Once Human, along with Power World and other newcomers to the genre, fit into the category that I'm penciling in as a Breath-like. Close enough to the open-world DNA of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's gameplay engine, its movement, and its game loop mechanics, as to invite in players that want to shape their experiences to play their way in that environment. Only Once Human has flipped the table and innovated by creating a true, always-online, multi-man experience around a starting narrative and seasonal temporary scenarios for both casual and competitive players alike, rather than the boot-up-a-server interface such as games as V-Rising, Don't Starve Together, Terraria, and Minecraft. And after having that experience, more on that later, I keep coming back to that question. What is Once Human? Both the times I asked myself that question, I asked it once before, and then again after playing the entirety of Encounter Manibus Season 1, and now I've become two minds about it. What is Once Human as a game, and what is it truly as an experience? And now I think I'm ready to answer that question, but it is much better that I show you than it is that I tell you. But where to begin? I think the best place to start is with its currency system, which is both one of the best and one of the worst designed systems that I have ever played inside of and with. Starting off with StarCrom. StarCrom. The spool of Once Human. Pink Himalayan crack salt laced with the fear of missing out. Earned from group activities like Prime Wars to filling out every advertised survey, or we're back in the game portal era of 2010s doing free surveys for premium currency. It's both a time-graded upgrade resource and a gambling currency, and the single most important currency you will either never spend or never have enough of. Delivered with an earworm tune you'll only ever hear every 4 to 7 days. There are two ways to spend your pink rank. Either the simulated gacha banner of rolling on Whack-A-Wish, or purchasing the prototyping blueprint from the direct acquisition depot for a large amount at a time. And unlike any other game to introduce the cancer that is the loot box and banner systems into a freemium model, StarCrom and the Wish Machine are 100% free and effort-based, meaning your every action over the course of Once Human counts, when not focused on quest meta progression or seasonal inheritance challenges, will be filling your nose up with that dust, and every other relevant currency, save for Sproutlets, extending to this goal. This brings us to the second most important currencies, Energy Links and Stellar Planula. Links are both an upgrade material as well as the money of Once Human, gained on a weekly reset basis of 50k from every Union stronghold, completing the activities and the exploration of the map and the world, and from other players via direct trades and automated synchromatic selling and buying from player vendors. While Stellar Planula, however, is the exploration currency. While it's gained alongside other resources and links from questing, Planula is to be gained through mini-games and secret hunting rather than passive recruitment over gameplay sessions. Despite being so important, Planula is the most infuriating to get and then spend once you've exhausted everything its shop has to offer, because once you have exhausted the shop offerings, there's nothing else for it to be used on until the next season's inheritance, since the only replenished offering upon exhausting it is the 8-count 500-point StarCrom crates. On screen is the Chinese map resource from the website created by the streamer group and content creator Daapa, and each of these marks of the map correspond to one of the 3 activities Planula can come from: deviated locale minigames and riddle spots, hidden mystic crates and puzzle obstacles, and hidden morphin hunt crates. Suffice to say, there is too much Planula and not enough to do with it, because once you've collected every note of it, doing it again isn't appealing. The original point of its collection being that the many optional challenges are gatekeepers to weapon accessories, gear pieces that modify the weapon performance of the weapon class that it's meant for, adding the incentive for players to explore the map and complete it in the first place. However, once you have completed map progression, you will never have to do it again, because the accessories are always unlocked as a part of the account's meta progression, so the only purpose to stockpile Planula is to buy the StarCrom crates from the shop at the beginning of every season. There is no two opinions about this. Planula itself is a badly designed currency endgame loop, made only relevant because of the need to have it mentality, which is artificially created by allowing some currencies to be purchased with it and others being trapped on the map, waiting to be discovered, meaning that you will never be at your true maximum potential and power from your weapon's mobility or the rest of its stats should you not do it, as well as it being tied to stockpiling controllers, which add as the universal key to every single core, which acts as a universal chest to be unlocked by said controllers. The mechanic is bad, the currency is bad, I hate it, and I would like them to change this in the future, because there's no relevant point to Planula other than seeing the numbers stack and rise in your currency because number go burr. Every other currency isn't relevant like these three because of the importance of Star Chrome on the meta progression. Therefore, daily gameplay, weekly purification cash-outs, and seasonal exploration of the map become the bread and butter of the game's content. This by itself would become stale, which is where the twist comes in. Every game server is split into different modes of play, meta activities, and modifiers, known as seasonal encounters. Periods of time similar to a challenge league or a ladder experience in Path of Exile, Diablo 2-4, or the leagues of old-school RuneScape for a period of 45 to 65 days, before the off-ladder transitional settlement phase, where the majority of your non-account-bound loot moves to Eternal Land, your non-ladder home away from home upon the end of settlement phase, or your pending transfer to the new server after leaving the old dead one. Seasonal encounters exist as a way for players to spice up their experiences by optionally electing to join a server based on their preferences and mode of play, as well as the exclusive PvE and PvP perks and friendly deviations, known as deviants or DVs, in-game SCP Foundation-inspired pets with mechanics either suited for combat or passive territory advantages, such as crafting, automated resource gathering and collection, with Season 2 introducing collectible alternative-covered DVs, which have the same functions as Pokemon Shinies. Currently, at this time of recording, the following encounters have either been implemented or have been announced for future release. Evolution's Call, the PvP paradise of faction-based clanner combat, where everyone charges outrageous prices for cabbages and items to everyone. Encounter Manibus, or simply Manibus, the default PvM experience in the setting, where the majority of the game's plot and lore is exposited to the players, the added draw feature and content being the scaling difficulties of the Prime War and the Star Chrome that it provides, where the entire player base of the server comes together in 40-man operations to summon and defeat the minions of the first Great Old One before challenging it head-on in Phase 5, a living eldritch abomination summoned via the actions of the Rosetta Foundation's evolutionists, the group responsible for the state of the game's narrative and its world-building. The Way of Winter, a PvE-designed environment experience, where the challenge is freezing temperatures, making the players have to cooperate and struggle against the added weather mechanic. And Prism vs. Clash, literally red versus blue. Players getting to choose whether to be a part of the hero faction of the Mayflies or the villain factions of the Rosetta Loyalists, where the choices allow players to sign up and jump in for activities that pit them against other players in the rival faction, similar to Evo's Call, but allowing friends to play alongside each other, regardless of their factor choices. These encounters act as a way to allow players the chance to break up the boredom of the experience by engaging in the type of gameplay and pace that they would like, and offering new ways to play and new opportunities to accrue DVs and currency not available in the game modes that they're familiar with. And, for the convenience sake, I've broken down the general trade-offs of both types of server experiences, as well as the power curve and the expected metagame of each pattern phases for its time-lock content, currently displayed on the screen. By no means of offering this information and presenting these details am I telling any person who stumbles upon this game or interact with me how you should, quote, play the game and or how the game should be played, but instead offering examples of what your experience may be or could be upon you choosing to engage with it. Because now we get to ask the question again. What is once human? Quite simply, once human is this.
With like the strongest material, that way I don't have like wood foundations everywhere.
You're still on wood. You were still on wood foundations?
Yeah.
That's a scary thought. And once human is not this.
You're claiming that. I don't believe that you have a wife or kid at all. And my current theory is that it could be I wonder if you have anything mental going on. Which, I mean, this isn't like an insult or anything. Because, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing if you do. But I'm wondering that. That's what I'll do. I'm also gonna go eat my pizza.
Oh, he can't even stay to hear what I have to say back to it. That's cool.
Serve anymore. Well, I mean, you did the same thing to me earlier when you left, but I mean.
No, actually, I
think you
walked
need
out
to
into the
debate me
hallway,
again.
and then I walked back into the hallway. I could hear the
We're
entire
never talking
time.
again. Goodbye, Carl.
Once human is this.
Sure, honestly, I kind of feel bad for the kid that did it in our server because he was really remorseful after the fact. Like he thought he was actually
Seems
doing
like
a
it.
good thing, and then
Yeah.
up in his face.
Like, you think, oh man, I'm gonna do nice, I'm gonna try and set things up for everybody, everyone's gonna be very nice about it, it's gonna blah 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 blah. That's just not how people see it.
Well, he did it because he locked it down because he sat there and said we were being too mean because basically what led up to the events of that was we were doing nightmares and somebody fired off a pro and we went off on them because we were asking them to wait patient or nicely because we were going to go down and help them out and everything. But they go and fire off 2 more and they lock up ours and we waste I want to see about 30,000 Stardust worth of stuff and we did not have a lot of it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like Reds weren't even, they were expending out of the mag, but there was no
We just
bullet.
needed them.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just, they were just disappearing. And so, yeah, I was really mad. That kind of almost broke the game for me on that one because I spent weeks.
No, a lot of us were wanting to rage quit, I think, at that point. But
Yeah, that was a lot of my resources gone in one day.
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, a lot of the
understand
other
that.
guys on the server actually piped up and threw stuff in. I think we got another 70k star source from everybody else and managed to go another round.
Mm-hmm. See, that's one of the other. That's what started a bunch of the other protests that we demanded, where it's like, okay, you can have them have different timers, but make it a countdown so that that person can't start another one, and also make it an instance. Also, let me get instances for my warbands, please.
Oh, they talked about it.
Heads up.
They talked about making it to where it was private, where you could choose who was allowed to add.
Man, my FPS is beautiful.
Oh my god, my dog just pushed me off my ledge.
Don't you love when that happens, man?
Stupid dog.
You make me look bad.
He made me look real bad.
I'm sorry, man. I watched the crap out of Courage when I was a kid.
And once human is not this, or this, or this, and certainly not this. The fact of the matter is that toxicity in online video games is not a new concept to any person to ever engage with or interact with, and it's certainly not going to be new to a person whose entire platform and engagement of content cycles begins with interaction from other people. But there's a difference between the kind of interactions that a person should be expected to deal with and having the same group of people, from a group of 10 to a group of 35 that eventually get whittled down and banned over time because they get caught doing the shit live on air and brag about doing it openly, only to get punished by the game system, doing it for a period of 45 to 65 days, and actively stalking, harassing, and attempting to fuck with the chat room, the Discord, the live streams, and any engagement they have with another person, inside or outside of their own personal Discord, or inside of a group community Discord that they happen to be engaged in. I don't care who you are. There is no excuse for this level of brain melt in my DMs. I will report you. I will block you. I will ignore you. Anybody should, because nobody should have to deal with this level of delusion. Especially when you start talking about my family personally. Hate me all the fuck you want.
Revenge is motivation enough. At least it's honest. Hate me, but do it honestly.
Regardless of everything that I suffered, my personal experience with the video game is not directly affected and will not be affected, in my opinion and review of it, based on the behavior and actions of people who decided to grief me through the experience I had through Season 1, and even those that have tried it and failed in Season 2. The fact of the matter is that no matter what experience you're personally having, and from wherever you come from, the fact of the matter is that Once Human is a game that, no matter who it is you interact with, you have to remember, whether it be an NPC inside the Worldlands on Nalcott Island, or random people and random strangers that you meet inside of these Discord servers that will be made to try and coordinate their actions across the game world. All of these people were once human too. And you should try to remember that, because it's supposed to be about having fun, not about dealing with the interpersonal politics of weird people on the internet who believe they have the right to harass your content. It is what it is. And with that being said, I hope you learned something. I certainly did. I'm gonna go finish eating my Taco Bell now. Okay, bye!